Welcome to 20 awesome upcoming post-apocalyptic games where the world's ending, but our Steam libraries are just beginning. From robot dinosaurs MMOs to raccoons packing heat, these games prove that when society collapses, the fun begins. So, let's dive in. Imagine a world where machines didn't just take over, they evolved into gods. That's the setup for Supreme Experiment, a post-apocalyptic FPS/immersive sim expected in 2026. You're dropped into a wasteland where AI isn't just smarter than you, it's basically divine. The game promises moral choices, heavy atmosphere, and that classic humans versus their own creations tension. Think Deus Ex meets Metro Exodus, but with a philosophical twist. What happens when the experiment becomes the supreme ruler? Expect gunfights, hacking, and probably a lot of yelling at yourself for giving robots free will. It's ambitious, weird, and could be one of the most thought-provoking shooters of the year.
A new species, trying to survive, fighting for scraps, searching for truth. An abandoned, poisoned wasteland, crawling with creatures beyond imagination. Down here, humans don't belong. For those who left the city, it's a one-way ticket. But they go for a reason. This evolution of the machines was not random. There's something vast behind it. It's coming for everyone, not just the machines. The people in the cities don't know it yet, but soon they will.
Guerrilla and NC Soft are teaming up to expand the Horizon universe into MMORPG territory. Horizon Steel Frontiers takes us to the Deadlands frontier, where you and your friends can finally fight robo-dinos together instead of watching Aloy hog all the glory. Scheduled for 2026 on PC and mobile, this is the first time Horizon goes full online. Expect crafting, exploration, and massive battles against mechanical beasts that make your GPU cry. The big question, will it capture the single-player magic of Horizon while adding MMO depth? If done right, this could be the game that makes you forget World of Warcraft ever existed. And yes, I'm already planning to form a clan called Jurassic Tech Support. From Bad Robot Games comes 4 Loop, a co-op shooter with a killer gimmick. Death isn't the end, it's the reset. Every time you die, the loop restarts, forcing you and your squad to rethink strategies on the fly. It's like Groundhog Day, but with shotguns and aliens. Designed by Mike Booth, the guy behind Left 4 Dead, this game screams chaotic fun. Imagine 4 friends yelling at each other because one guy keeps dying in the same hallway. Yeah, that's the vibe. With PS5 and PC confirmed, it's shaping up to be the next big co-op addiction. If you love teamwork, time loops, and blaming your buddy for ruining everything, 4 Loop is going to be your jam.
Ability map, your team will teleport into the mission. You may have to collect mission-critical resources, or even rescue survivors that can offer cool upgrades for your gear, all while trying to avoid the alien forces constantly sending drop pods and kill bots to stop you. We've worked hard to ensure that there are tons of items to choose from, and a lot of strange creatures and mysterious things to encounter. For example, this weird alien plant is called a blink root, where you can collect a blink berry, which will teleport anyone who touches it to a random, distant location. All the various enemies, weapons, items, and mission objectives are all designed to interact with each other in dynamic ways that create emergent gameplay and endless, replayable chaos. That means your decisions really matter, and creativity and improvisation are key. We really want players to try things and think outside the box, like hacking an alien terminal to provide intel to the rest of the team, or being bombarded by killbot drop pods, or barely escaping with your life. And if you do die, don't worry. So long as one of you makes it back to home base, you'll be reprinted and ready to try again. The home base is a place for your team to readjust their strategy, evolve your loadout, and choose rewards from an increasing array of powerful gear and upgrades. Each act of the probability map culminates in one of multiple boss battles. This is the Scanner Boss, a huge geologic surveyor that scans for flux deposits to harvest. Its scan fields are very lethal, creating a dynamic obstacle course of lasers to avoid while attempting to destroy the boss itself. Because the scanner's body rotates like a 3D puzzle, you want to spread...
Now this one hits different. As One We Survive isn't just another survival sim, it's a father-daughter story set against a collapsing world. You're not just chopping wood and building shelters, you're literally fighting to keep hope alive for your kid. Scheduled for Q2 2026 on PC, it blends colony management with emotional storytelling. Think Frostpunk, but with more heart and less yelling at citizens. You'll juggle resources, fend off threats, and probably cry when your daughter says something wholesome while you're busy starving. It's the kind of game that makes you pause mid-loot and go, dang, I should... Triggered nuclear war. Double check. Asphalt is NetEase's big swing at the genre, and it's shaping up to be a mix of Fallout and Destiny. You'll scavenge, shoot, and survive in a world where humanity basically lost to its own creations. The vibe is grim but stylish, with ruined cities and mutated wildlife. It's still TBA, but the promise is huge. PvE missions, PvP chaos, and a soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. Yes, Hans Zimmer. So even if you're getting mauled by radioactive wolves, at least it'll sound epic. Honestly, if Skynet had a Spotify playlist, this would be it.
An unknown world. It's our new homeland. Or our resting place.
Dropping December 5th, 2026, Beautiful Light is an extraction shooter with a horror twist. PvPvPvE, meaning not just players, but anomalies, monsters, and the environment itself want you dead. Imagine Escape from Tarkov, but haunted by ghosts who also camp loot spots. The atmosphere is eerie, the gunplay looks tight, and the tension is real. You'll be creeping through abandoned zones, hearing whispers, and wondering if that shadow is a player or something worse. It's the kind of game where you'll scream at your squad, then laugh nervously 5 minutes later. Basically, Tarkov meets Silent Hill, and I'm here for it. The original Long Dark was all about lonely survival in the frozen wilderness. Now Hinterland is back with Black Frost. The Long Dark 2 dropping into early access in 2026, and this time you don't have to suffer alone. Co-op survival is in. Picture you and your buddies huddled around a fire arguing about who forgot to boil the water while frostbite slowly claims your toes. Harmont is the new setting, a brutal frozen wasteland that makes Canada look like a tropical resort. Expect resource management, tense exploration, and those classic, oh no, the wolves found us moments. It's survival, but with friendship, and probably betrayal when someone eats the last can of beans. The mystery child of the apocalypse list, Blade Runner 2033. Labyrinth was announced with fanfare, then promptly vanished after Annapurna Interactive's collapse. Officially canceled, unofficially, maybe someday. It's the gaming equivalent of that friend who says they'll show up to the party but never does. The concept was intriguing. A noir detective story set in the Blade Runner universe, exploring the moral gray zones of replicants and humans. But right now, it's vaporware. Will it return? Maybe. Will it haunt us like a neon-lit ghost? Definitely. For now, all we can do is rewatch Blade Runner 2049 and whisper, Labyrinth, please come back.
Being someone else. In places that no longer exist. That's where you'll find me. Searching. In the land of the dead.
Post-apocalyptic soul, tactical MMO shooter, Cinder City is aiming to blend cyberpunk grit with Mad Max chaos. Big Fire Games and NCSOFT are cooking up a world where skyscrapers crumble, gangs rule the streets, and you're just trying to survive with style. It's squad-based, open world, and dripping with dystopian atmosphere. Think Division meets Cyberpunk 2077, but with kimchi and neon signs. The promise is PvP battles, faction wars, and enough tactical gunplay to keep you yelling at your squad for forgetting to cover the flank. Still TBA, but if they nail the vibe, this could be one of the most stylish apocalypse shooters out there. Set in the 1990s, Crisis X throws you into an open-world survival MMO where society collapses faster than your dial-up internet. You'll be scavenging, crafting, and fighting off infected hordes while trying to build communities that don't immediately implode. It's got that mix of DayZ chaos and Rust resource drama, but with a retro vibe. Cassette tapes, mullets, and maybe even Tamagotchis. Scheduled for 2026, it's aiming to be the kind of game where you log in for just an hour and suddenly it's 3 a.m. and you're arguing with strangers about who gets the last can of Spam. If you love survival with a side of nostalgia, this one's for you.
To horizons. Lost. Maybe the way clears when we walk together. Collaborate. Fight. Side by side. Get everything back on track. Allied. United. But people stay the same. We clash. We claim. We raid. The livings become the real crisis. And this time, what's your way out? Survive your way.
The Horsemen ride again, and this time, all 4 are playable. Darksiders 4 is still TBA, but the hype is real. War, Death, Fury, and Strife finally team up in a co-op action-adventure that promises apocalyptic chaos. Imagine arguing with your friends about who gets to be Death, then realizing you're stuck playing Strife because you joined the lobby late. Classic. Expect massive bosses, stylish combat, and that heavy metal vibe the series is known for. It's like God of War meets Diablo, but with more biblical destruction. If you've ever wanted to save the world while looking ridiculously cool, this is your jam. Now here's a weird one. Hunger drops you into plague-ravaged Napoleonic Europe, where PvPvE extraction gameplay means everyone, players, NPCs, and the environment, wants you dead. You're starving, diseased, and armed with muskets, which is basically the worst loadout ever. It's grim, gritty, and oddly fascinating. Early access is expected soon, with full release still TBA. Think Escape from Tarkov, but with powdered wigs and cholera. You'll loot, fight, and probably die of dysentery, but hey, at least it's historically accurate. If you've ever wanted to roleplay as a starving soldier yelling, "Who stole my bread?" this game has you covered.
Us rightly, for we are but beasts, unworthy of salvation.
Liminal Point is survival horror with a capital H. Dropping in 2026 for PC, it's dripping with Silent Hill and Resident Evil vibes, creepy corridors, unsettling sound design, and monsters that look like they crawled out of your worst fever dream. The devs promise psychological tension, not just jump scares, so expect moments where you're questioning reality as much as your ammo count. It's the kind of game where you'll pause mid-play and say, nope, not opening that door, but of course you will, because curiosity kills gamers faster than any monster. If you love horror that messes with your head, this one's going to be deliciously terrifying.
Isn't that why you're here too? Did you forget what happened on that night? This place remembers, and so do I. I'll be waiting, so come and find me.
Pearl Abyss, the folks behind Black Desert Online, are cooking up Plan 8, an MMO shooter with exosuits. Think Iron Man meets Destiny, but with more customization and tactical gunplay. Counter-Strike co-creator Min Lei is involved, so expect tight shooting mechanics alongside flashy suit powers. It's still TBA, but the concept screams potential. Massive open-world battles, loot-driven progression, and exosuits that make you feel like a walking tank. The only downside? You'll probably spend more time arguing about which suit looks cooler than actually shooting enemies. If you've ever wanted to cosplay as a mech while fragging strangers online, Plan 8 is your dream. Now here's a stylish one. Project. The Perceiver is an open-world action RPG from Paper Games, blending Chinese cultural themes with mask-based combat. Each mask gives you a new fighting style, so it's basically Sekiro meets cosplay. The visuals are stunning, and sweeping landscapes, fluid combat animations, and a vibe that feels both mystical and brutal. It's still TBA, but every trailer screams ambition. Imagine dueling enemies, stealing their masks, and suddenly fighting like them. It's the kind of mechanic that makes you want to collect masks like Pokemon cards. If you're into fast-paced swordplay and gorgeous worlds, this could be a sleeper hit.
天下是苍生的天下，粮还是糖，这两个字重要吗？
大唐福泽万年，逆贼杀戮无道，如何相提并论？
一将功成万骨枯，总有人要在阴影里背负罪孽。 你那谢里的糖，真是你心中所念的糖吗？
World War II already had enough horrors, but Project Z Beyond Order says, what if we added zombies? This co-op FPS drops you into Nazi experiments gone wrong, where undead soldiers roam bunkers and you and your squad have to blast your way through. It's gritty, atmospheric, and dripping with that alt history vibe. Think Call of Duty Zombies, but with more story and less screaming 12-year-olds. You'll scavenge, shoot, and probably argue with your friends about who gets the flamethrower. Still TBA, but if you've ever wanted to mix history class with horror movie night, this is the game for you. Coming April 14th, 2026, replaced as a retro-futuristic 2.5D cinematic platformer that looks like it was ripped straight out of a neon-soaked dream. You play as an AI trapped in a human body, navigating a dystopian society where corruption runs deeper than your Steam backlog. The visuals are jaw-dropping pixel art, the combat is slick, and the atmosphere screams Blade Runner meets Inside. It's stylish, moody, and the kind of game that makes you want to pause just to admire the backgrounds. If you love cinematic storytelling with a side of existential dread, Replaced is going to be your next obsession. Munfish, the team behind Atomic Heart, is back with The Cube, an MMO shooter set in their bizarre atomic universe. The premise? A mysterious levitating cube that seems to hold secrets, loot, and probably nightmares. It's squad-based, open world, and dripping with surreal Soviet sci-fi vibes. Imagine wandering through warped landscapes, fighting enemies that look like they escaped a fever dream, all while wondering if the cube is judging you. Platforms are TBA, but expect PC, PS5, and Xbox. If you love the weirdness of Atomic Heart, this is basically its bigger, stranger cousin. And yes, I'm already planning to name my squad Rubik's Revenge.
What if the cube didn't appear, but revealed itself? What if it was always there, and we've only just started to see it?
Forget London's tripods. The War of the Worlds. Siberia takes the Martian invasion to Russia in 1896. Imagine freezing winters, crumbling villages, and alien war machines stomping through the snow. It's alt-history survival horror with a heavy dose of atmosphere. Scheduled for 2027 on PC, this one promises to mix historical grit with sci-fi terror. You'll be fighting Martians with rifles that jam in the cold, dodging heat rays while your comrades yell in Russian. It's bleak, it's brutal, and it's the kind of game that makes you wonder if humanity ever stood a chance. Honestly, if aliens can survive Siberia, we're all doomed.
Dad, купи кирпич.
Я убил его.
Вниз!
Стой, тварь! Это же предательство!
Оно самое, юноша. Оно самое.
Diesel punk animals with attitude. Zoopunk is the prequel to Fist, and it's bringing co-op chaos to PC and consoles. Imagine raccoons, rabbits, and other critters armed to the teeth, blasting through dystopian cities. It's stylish, fast-paced, and dripping with personality. The world is grim, but the characters are hilarious, because nothing says apocalypse like a bunny dual-wielding pistols. Still TBA, but the trailers already scream fun. Expect slick combat, teamwork, and probably a lot of yelling at your friends when the raccoon steals all the loot. If you've ever wanted to roleplay as a furry action hero in a ruined world, Zoopunk is your ticket.
All accounted for. What's next?
It's time to save Torch City.
XE Killer is a retro-futuristic sci-fi western shooter from Paradark Studio that drops players into a post-apocalyptic alternate timeline where corporations rule the wastelands and bounty hunters enforce their will. You play as Denzel Phoenix, a licensed bounty hunter working for the powerful Helion Corporation, navigating brutal deserts, sandstorms, and decayed cities while tracking fugitives across a lawless frontier. The game blends first-person shooting with RPG-style progression, cybernetic implants, vehicular combat, and branching storylines that adapt to player choices, offering multiple endings and deep replayability. Its cinematic style emphasizes survival, exploration, and moral dilemmas with a strong focus on atmosphere and narrative immersion. XE Killer is planned for release in 2026 on PC via Steam, with console versions to follow.
Last seen somewhere in Jacob's Town area. Bounty hunting is a hell of a business.
Who are you?
I am Executor.
I want to make you an offer, which I'm sure you won't refuse.
Jurassic Park Survival is an upcoming single-player action-adventure developed by Saber Interactive that places players in the shoes of Dr. Maya Joshi, an InGen scientist stranded on Isla Nublar the day after the events of the original 1993 film. Unlike the park management style of Jurassic World Evolution, this game emphasizes survival, stealth, and exploration as you navigate environments teeming with dinosaurs that exhibit adaptive behaviors, creating unpredictable encounters. Inspired by classics like Dino Crisis, the gameplay blends tense first-person action with narrative-driven progression, challenging players to outwit predators while uncovering secrets of Hammond's vision gone awry. With cinematic storytelling, immersive environments, and a focus on suspenseful survival, it promises to deliver a fresh yet faithful Jurassic Park experience. Jurassic Park. Survival is currently listed as TBA, with release planned for PC via Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S.
Is anyone there?
Psycho Dead is a third-person survival horror game developed and published by Moon Catalyst, blending supernatural powers with tense escape mechanics. Players step into the role of a young girl gifted with psychic abilities trapped inside a secret laboratory where she must evade relentless stalkers and uncover the truth behind sinister experiments. Built in Unreal Engine 5, the game emphasizes atmospheric tension, resource management, and cinematic storytelling, drawing inspiration from classics like Resident Evil and Parasite Eve. Expect a mix of stealth, combat, and psychological horror as you navigate claustrophobic corridors and face grotesque threats while balancing survival choices. With its focus on a female protagonist, immersive environments, and branching narrative, Psycho Dead aims to deliver a chilling yet story-rich experience for fans of modern horror. The game is planned for release in 2026 on PC via Steam and PlayStation 5, with Xbox Series X and S versions also expected.
The power within you is extraordinary. Not everyone has power like you, Elixia.
So, I'm just a weapon to be used. Then why are you helping me?
I just don't want to see you die here.
Freedom isn't as beautiful as you think. The world outside, it's much crueler than you imagine.
Listen to me, Elixia. If you escape, you can have a life of your own.
How can I trust you? What else have you lied about?
We, Atlas, made you, Elixia. I'm like a father to you.
I'll make them pay for what they did to you. This is my promise.
Retrieval is a cinematic sci-fi horror adventure from 333 Studios that follows the journey of Hana Loshe, a commander leading a research team who uncovers terrifying secrets on the distant planet Ryhalion. The game blends survival horror with psychological tension, placing players in a retro-futuristic base where stealth, exploration, and atmospheric storytelling drive the experience. Built with a strong narrative focus, Retrieval emphasizes emotional drama, moral choices, and encounters with relentless adversaries that challenge both strategy and nerve. Its design promises richly detailed environments, immersive soundscapes, and a balance of action-adventure mechanics with story-driven suspense appealing to fans of Dead Space and Resident Evil. Retrieval is currently listed as TBA, with release planned for PC via Steam and PlayStation 5, enhanced for PS5 Pro.
There is no end.
The Twilight Project is a third-person survival horror game developed by Teapot Studio, immersing players in the unsettling tale of a tourist who becomes trapped in a forgotten village sealed off from the outside world. As night falls, reality begins to fracture, unleashing terrifying creatures and supernatural phenomena that blur the line between dream and nightmare. Built in Unreal Engine, the game emphasizes atmospheric exploration, tense stealth, and psychological horror, drawing inspiration from genre classics while introducing unique mechanics tied to shifting realities. Players can expect richly detailed environments, cinematic storytelling, and a haunting narrative that evolves with each encounter, promising a deeply immersive horror experience. The Twilight Project is currently listed as to be announced, with release planned for PC via Steam, and console versions expected for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. Nakwan Last Paradise is a zombie apocalypse stealth survival game from Mint Rocket, the studio behind Dave the Diver, set in a hauntingly atmospheric version of Seoul where players must scavenge, sneak, and outwit both the undead and rival survivors. Unlike traditional survival horror, Nakwan emphasizes PvPvE gameplay for up to 16 players, forcing you to balance stealth against aggression while looting supplies and escaping the city alive. The game's design leans heavily on tension and unpredictability, with zombies reacting to sound and movement, while human opponents add layers of betrayal and competition. Built for online play, it requires constant strategy, resource management, and teamwork, or ruthless opportunism to survive. With its urban Korean setting, immersive mechanics, and focus on realism, Nakwan aims to redefine multiplayer survival horror. Last Paradise is currently listed as TBA, with release planned for PC via Steam. Long Gone is a narrative-driven adventure from Hillfort Games that transforms a decaying neighborhood into its central character, inviting players to uncover the stories of the old world through exploration, puzzle-solving, and platforming across overgrown streets and abandoned homes. The game emphasizes environmental storytelling, where rummaging through belongings left behind reveals the secrets of those who once lived there, while survival elements like scavenging supplies and fending off zombies add tension to the journey. With its mix of atmospheric design, emotional depth, and gameplay that balances discovery with danger, Long Gone aims to deliver a haunting yet immersive experience that resonates with fans of post-apocalyptic storytelling. Long Gone is scheduled to release in 2026 for PC via Steam, with console versions expected later. Zeverland is a quirky yet dark co-op survival game from Quantum Quirks that drops players into the chaotic dawn of a zombie apocalypse, where common sense and teamwork are your greatest weapons. Unlike traditional horror titles, it mixes stylized cartoon visuals with brutal, violent encounters, creating a deceptive contrast between playful aesthetics and grim survival. Players can scavenge, craft, and build everything from rockets to towering fortresses while fending off hordes of Zeds, with gameplay designed for both PvP and PvE chaos. Its sandbox structure encourages creativity, letting groups of friends experiment with wild strategies while uncovering the mysteries of the outbreak. The game's tone balances humor with tension, offering a fresh spin on zombie survival that feels both accessible and unpredictable. Zeverland is currently listed as coming soon on Steam, with PC confirmed as its initial release platform.
Other Zeds probably won't attack you, but human players might. If you run into an elite Zed hunter, sometimes it pays to blend in with the crowd. As a Zed, you can level up your powers and even control your fellows. All hail the new king of the Zeds. The world we've crafted measures over 600 square kilometers, with towns, villages, coasts, mountains, and countless other unique locations. You can turn an abandoned building into a mighty shelter with high walls and self-sufficient farms. Or just travel around in your RV like a true apocalypse nomad. There'll be hundreds of players trying to survive together, weathering the cold, the plague, and hordes of Zeds. You'll need to help each other out if you don't want to become Zed Chow. With everybody else dead, you and your fellow survivors will shape the future of this world together. Whether you want to rebuild civilization, find a vaccine, or just give up and embrace the chaos, the choice is yours.
Minsk is a post-apocalyptic survival horror adventure developed in Unreal Engine 5 by a solo indie creator, blending atmospheric exploration with tense encounters against hostile robots in the toxic ruins of a devastated city. The narrative follows a lone mechanical protagonist, designed as the last hope of its creator, who must navigate crumbling urban landscapes, uncover hidden lore, and survive in a world poisoned by catastrophe. The game emphasizes cinematic visuals, immersive soundscapes, and psychological tension, drawing inspiration from titles like Stalker and Metro, while offering unique mechanics tied to robotic survival and environmental hazards. Early gameplay demos showcase hauntingly realistic environments, dynamic lighting, and a strong focus on storytelling through exploration rather than combat-heavy sequences. Minsk is currently listed as TBA, with release planned for PC via Steam. DayZ Badlands is the largest expansion yet for Bohemia Interactive's iconic survival sandbox, transporting players to the war-scarred Nazdara province, a sprawling 267 square kilometers desert terrain filled with abandoned Middle Eastern-style cities, Soviet-era military bases, and modern oil infrastructure. This new setting emphasizes the harshness of survival, where players must scavenge, forge alliances, and fight for control in a land reshaped by infection and past proxy conflicts. The Badlands expansion introduces fresh opportunities for PvP and co-op play, with its vast open world designed to test endurance, strategy, and adaptability. With its mix of desolate landscapes, hidden secrets, and emergent gameplay, it promises to redefine the DayZ experience by pushing scale and atmosphere to new extremes. DayZ Badlands is scheduled to release in 2026 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC via Steam. Nobody's Left is a post-war apocalyptic action-adventure developed by Madrain Studio, set in a devastated city where survival demands adaptation and ordinary men can no longer remain ordinary. The game emphasizes emotional storytelling, stealth, and third-person shooter mechanics, blending atmospheric exploration with tense encounters against both human foes and environmental threats. Players must take responsibility to protect loved ones, navigating a world where betrayal and unexpected dangers lurk around every corner. With its mix of Souls-like combat, survival horror tension, and branching narrative choices, Nobody's Left promises a story-rich experience that balances action with moral dilemmas. The game is currently listed as TBA, with release planned for PC via Steam and published by Madrain Studio. Never Be Alone is an open-world zombie survival game developed by Jonas Jensen and Wes Larkin, published by Beast Studios, that thrusts players into a post-apocalyptic world reclaimed by nature a decade after the outbreak. Designed for both solo play and seamless co-op, It challenges survivors to scavenge resources, craft weapons, and endure relentless zombie hordes while navigating dynamic environments that evolve with player choices. The game emphasizes atmospheric storytelling, PvPvE encounters, and moral dilemmas, blending first-person and third-person perspectives with looter-shooter mechanics. Its sandbox structure allows for exploration, base building, and cooperative strategies, while the haunting tagline, "Trust no one, but remember, you will never be alone," underscores its tension-filled design. Never Be Alone is scheduled for early access release in Q4 2026 on PC via Steam. As One We Survive is a post-apocalyptic survival game from Revelation Games LLC that blends colony simulation, crafting, and emotional storytelling into a tense fight for survival. Players take on the role of a father struggling to save his sick daughter while building a community in a lawless world, scavenging resources, constructing facilities, and defending against hostile threats. The game combines elements of State of Decay, Valheim, and Project Zomboid, offering top-down shooter mechanics alongside immersive base building and sandbox exploration. With stylized visuals, a focus on community-driven survival, and narrative depth rooted in themes of faith, hope, and love, it aims to deliver both strategic gameplay and heartfelt drama. As One We Survive is scheduled to launch in Q2 2026 in early access on PC via Steam. Atomic Heart 2 is the highly anticipated sequel to Mundfish's retrofuturistic FPS, expanding the surreal alternate history Soviet dystopia introduced in the first game. Building on the bizarre mix of robotics, mutant bioweapons, and psychedelic storytelling, the sequel promises new characters, environments, and abilities while continuing Major P3's journey beyond Facility 3826. Early trailers showcase a world spiraling deeper into chaos, with advanced AI and loyal robots turning against humanity in increasingly grotesque ways. Players can expect refined gunplay, expanded melee combat, and a broader arsenal of experimental weapons, all wrapped in cinematic visuals powered by Unreal Engine. The narrative teases darker psychological themes and more open-ended exploration, ensuring both action and mystery remain central to the experience. Atomic Heart 2 is currently listed as TBA, with release planned for PC and consoles including PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. State of Decay 3 is the next entry in Undead Labs' acclaimed zombie survival franchise, promising a larger, more cinematic open-world experience built in Unreal Engine 5. The game expands on the series' hallmark of community building and resource management, while introducing harsher survival mechanics, dynamic weather, and more realistic undead threats. Early trailers showcase snowy wilderness settings, hinting at environmental hazards alongside the constant danger of infection. Cooperative multiplayer remains a core feature, allowing players to band together against both zombies and rival survivors, while narrative depth is expected to grow with branching storylines and emotional stakes. With Xbox Game Studios backing, State of Decay 3 aims to deliver a polished, next-gen survival sandbox that balances emergent gameplay with cinematic storytelling. The release date is still TBA, but platforms confirmed include Xbox Series X and S and PC via Steam.
And even if we bought the other survivors just one more day, the sacrifice would be worth it. It would always be worth it. And that helped us find the courage to keep going, to fight on. When we needed it the most. I didn't know you well. But we'll keep your memory alive. Every sacrifice we make matters and will never be forgotten.
And there you have it. 20 awesome upcoming post-apocalyptic games that prove the end of the world might actually be kind of fun. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the ride, drop your favorite pick in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, because when the apocalypse hits, you'll want me on your side bringing you the latest Wasteland news. See you next time.